Welcome back to the Slasher Siblings podcast. I'm your co-host Cicely.
And your host Hayden.
And today we're talking about, don't laugh, Sleepaway Camp. It came out in 1983. It's rated R. It's an hour and 24 minutes. It has a 6.2 rating out of 10. It's about Angela Baker, a shy, traumatized young girl. She's sent to summer camp with her cousin. Shortly after her arrival, anyone with sinister or less than honorable intentions towards her gets their comeuppance.
Sis just learned how to say that word before this podcast today.
Comeuppance.
Yes.
Okay.
So before we get into the movie, we'll read the question from last week and the answer. Go ahead, sis.
This 1990 movie about an infestation of murderous spiders features John Goodman and Jeff Daniels.
And the answer...
Arachnophobia.
Who could have guessed that one?
Who thought?
That one was
Who would
pretty
have thought?
easy.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so starting into this movie, I think 6.2 is way too low.
Oh, you think that's too low?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do enjoy this movie. It has a lot of twists and turns. It's very driven to make you think one thing and it end up being not true. It's like one of the better 80s horror movies. It's definitely not as bad as like other horror movies from the 80s. It's definitely better than a lot. So I definitely think that that's too low, and we'll get into that later. But I want to talk about the opening. Right at the beginning, it has a real pretty landscape. It's going past all the trees that are like different colors, and it's going across the camp, and it's showing like the tennis court and it's zooming into the lake and everything. It kind of reminds me of like our lake.
Yeah,
sort of.
It's really pretty.
It is very pretty, and it always seems to start out,
Nice.
with a pretty landscape, and then it all turns south real quick.
Uh-huh.
And I think that I like the sibling rivalry that the brother and the sister, Angela and her brother, have in the beginning. They're like sitting on the boat with their dad, and they're fighting with each other and stuff. I think that's kind of funny. It's really funny that, it kind of seen that way because, like we keep saying, the siblings in movies aren't always accurate.
Yeah.
And that's pretty accurate because they're,
Yeah.
Messing and joking with each other. And then they kind of, let it go. They're not like fist fighting. Because a lot of movies either play siblings hate each other or they really like each other. One of the two, and it's never in the middle.
You need a happy medium there, I think.
And this is another movie that does it pretty well, I think. Because they're fighting with each other, joking around, and then he started it, no, she started it, that kind of thing. And it's a pretty good medium there. I also like the little nice family dynamic they have.
Uh-huh.
They're messing with dad and they push him off the boat and everything. I feel like that's kind of a nice little dynamic they have.
It's pretty bold to push him off the boat.
He's alright, he can swim. He was the dad anyway. But I want to talk about the fact that when they were in the water and that chick who wasn't supposed to be driving the boat was driving the boat. If you're driving a boat, why the hell are you not paying attention to where it's going? And they're just driving
you really should be.
They're just driving straight towards them. So I don't understand why she was not paying attention. She's just like looking around and kept looking at the dude. And,
So careless.
Yeah, just so careless. And like you have to have like zero sense of direction to not be able to like look behind you and tell that you're like going towards the shore. Because in your peripheral vision, you should be able to see like trees getting closer.
Or just like use your head. Use your eyeballs.
Yeah, like look forward.
Look forward while you're driving a fucking boat.
That's what you have a passenger for, to look out the side.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, the bad thing happens where kids are hurt and the dad is killed. And, it's just like an awful situation for someone who just was not paying attention whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, you really fucked up.
You really fucked up this time. You really did it.
I want to talk about the kids running to the camp off the bus. You remember they pull up to Camp Arawak or whatever. I forget. I think it's Arawak or something. And they just start running off the bus. That is such like a realistic interpretation of kids getting to a summer camp. I can remember showing up, getting the bags and putting them on the ground and like just taking off sprinting when we went to camp. Remember? When we used to go to camp, we would just take off sprinting. We were just so excited to be there. So that's like a real...
Oh, yeah.
I also thought it was funny that the one kid smacks into the counselor and gets knocked on the ground. It almost looks like it wasn't written. He just bumped into him by accident and fell on the ground. I think it was really funny. And shows like how careless the kid is. And it's not paying attention. I want to talk about the creepy cook.
Oh my god.
We don't learn his name or anything just yet, but he's super creepy. Talking about
I cannot
kids.
stand him.
Yeah, like talking about the kids that way as soon as they show up, like, you're fucking weird, dude.
Who hired him?
Who the hell hired him?
Yeah.
Exactly. But I just thought he was super, super creepy.
Oh yeah, he freaked me out.
I also like the children's interactions with each other. They're
funny.
They're all funny. And, you know, they're doing the high fives and the secret handshakes and stuff. And it's really funny. They're talking about, what was his name? Ricky? They're talking about Ricky's last year girlfriend having big boobs.
Yeah.
It's just that's such a, like, 12-year-old thing to do. It's like, it was so funny to
he's like, check
wait
her
till you
out.
see Judy. He's like, oh really? It's like, that's such a 12, 13-year-old kid
That's
thing
awful.
to do. It was so funny. And like, it was funny whenever it panned over to Judy too, and it's just like this short, scrawny girl. I'm just like, that's so funny.
I know, I was like, okay.
That's funny.
So funny.
So I want to talk about going into where Angela's not eating her food, and the counselor comes and takes Angela back to the kitchen to look for something that she'll actually eat. I want to talk about how nice that counselor is.
Oh yeah, he was so nice to her.
Booty short man.
Uh-huh.
I don't know his name. He's super nice through this entire movie.
Oh yeah.
He is such a cool counselor. And then there's the creepy cook again. I forget his name. It's like Artie, I think. But he's such a creep.
Yeah, he took her into that pantry.
Into the pantry and tried to do stuff to her. Like, that's another pedophile thing that
was
like
awful.
Terrible. But it was also quick thinking on, you know, Ricky's part to look for Angela.
Yeah, thank goodness he did.
I'm gonna say it now because it comes up a lot throughout this episode. I really like that Ricky is protecting Angela because he understands like what happened with her brother and her father, you know, back all those years ago or whatever, and he understands, you know, that she's kind of messed up, so he needs to protect her, and that she needs a
he's
brother
really good
figure.
To her.
Yeah, he's really, really good to her.
I know, I like that part of the movie too.
And it's obvious that Artie, or whatever his name is a repeat predator, because whenever Ricky and Angela run out, none of the other cooks say anything. So it's obvious that Artie has done this multiple times to kids.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame that they don't say anything, but it's also because he, like I said, is a repeat predator. So it's obvious that he, you know, tells them, if you say anything, I'm going to hurt you or something. It's kind of screwed up.
Oh yeah, he slams him into the...
Yeah, but I meant like the other cooks.
Oh yeah.
It's obvious that he's threatened the other cooks into not saying anything about what he does with the kids.
Which is awful.
Which is awful. He's really screwed up. So, honestly, him being the first attempted kill doesn't make sense.
I'm glad they did that.
So I like the first-person view that we get of the killer's...
Like you can see through their eyes.
The killer's eyes there. And at this point, we don't know who the killer is, but I really like that first-person view from their point of view, and the chair being ripped out.
And him...
The circumstances of the chair thing kind of seem like dramatized a little bit.
Yeah, because like...
Couldn't he stand up?
Probably he could have just like got down.
He could have, but for, you know, drama's sake, it was a pretty gnarly kill.
Oh yeah.
He fell at the... That's the next thing I'm gonna talk about, is that it's a brutal attempted kill. It's brutal.
He had it coming, though.
He had it coming, but like his skin was like boiling off.
Boiling off. You could see it like bubble.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. And I want to say that it was really good prosthetics.
Oh yeah. Especially
with the like boils, the blisters and stuff on his face. They were like pulsating and stuff. Like, that was pretty gross and really good prosthetics for an 80s movie. You know, it was it was pretty gross to see his, blisters moving like that.
Yeah, very gross.
I think that the blindfold prank was hilarious.
Oh my god.
He was saying something about like, as soon as I take the blindfold off, stand up and just run or whatever he was saying. He was laying right in the kid's ass. I thought that was hilarious. That seems like something also that a 12 and 13-year-old kid would do. It was pretty funny, I thought. I want to talk about the baseball game, and what I specifically want to talk about is the talking and the joking between all of them. Also, another kid thing to do is very funny, and how they talk to each other and saying like, oh, you can't hit and you're an asshole and stuff like that. I thought it was really funny and really accurate to how the kids would talk at a camp like that.
Their jokes were pretty funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And I want to talk about Ricky protecting Angela. Whenever that weird kid was coming over and saying, hey, do you want to go skinny dipping or whatever? And it was like, why are you so fucked up? I think he said. And I like Ricky coming over and, jumping in to protect her and stuff like that. And I mean,
he does it a whole bunch throughout the movie.
He really does.
Nice to see.
It's nice to see him protecting her like that, especially when he understands what happened. I want to talk about Angela finally talking to somebody, to Paul. I think it was a nice way to get her to finally say something to somebody. And it also kind of creates like a relationship between
her and Paul. Yeah.
Or at least like the start of trust in some way. I think that was a really nice scene.
It was nice that he was being nice to her too.
Exactly, yeah. Because
like everyone else was just so mean to her.
Or just ignoring her or whatever. I want to talk about the skinny dipping scene.
Oh my god.
They had some white asses.
Oh my god. There was so many butts.
There was so many, and they were all just like paste white. Like the whitest white you can get, and the rest of their body, their torso and their legs were completely tan, but their ass was super white. Like as white as the wall almost.
Yeah, literally.
I just thought it was funny. I don't have anything else to talk about. I just thought it was hilarious. And it was actually, I do have something to talk about. It was funny that they were taking their underwear off and they were just tossing them in the water.
Like they weren't planning on getting them back.
Yeah, like it was just, they were just tossing them. Like, what are you doing? Just leave them on at that point.
The dog.
Yeah. Like... the first kill in the movie is when she drowns that bully kid from earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pretty gruesome, corpse that floated up in the boat.
That was nasty.
That was gross. The snake in his mouth, and there was cuts all over him. It looked like the fish and snapping turtles were eating
at him.
Yeah, that's gross. That was pretty good.
And I mean, I wasn't too upset because he seemed like a douche. Asshole.
Yeah. But it was pretty good prosthetic work on that one too.
Oh yeah, I thought that one wasn't bad either.
This wasn't a bad movie for prosthetics.
You think it would be, but it really wasn't.
It was an 80s movie. You thought it would be.
No, I was impressed by that.
I want to talk about the volleyball scene. It's just, of course, the girl bully attacks Angela's looks.
Yeah.
And stuff like, why are you so fucked up and you're ugly and all this other stuff.
She's not even ugly.
She really isn't.
She looks like a basic young girl. She's not ugly.
No.
She's cute. I don't know.
It just didn't make sense. Well, it made sense because, people were interested in Angela because she, was weird, but it wasn't like she was completely strange, like an outcast or anything like that. And I just thought it was like, yeah, that's a typical, 12-year-old girl bully for you. She thinks that she's the hottest stuff around. And someone gets paid a little bit more attention and she has to attack everything about them.
Yeah, and she was real pissed when she wouldn't eat her food and they took her back into the kitchen to see what she would like.
Yeah.
Like, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Of the counselor to do, but Angela was pissed.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Or, Judy, you mean.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Judy was pissed. And that doesn't make any sense either. Like, she's a little messed up in her head.
Yeah.
Just leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
I mean, I guess Judy didn't know the specific details of what happened.
But still.
But it's still the fact that why are you being mean? I want to talk about Meg shaking Angela,
Yeah.
I thought that scene was so weird. And why I think it's weird is because in the movie, Meg is supposed to be a counselor, first of all.
Yeah. So
And she's like a
supposed
bully.
to be helping the
Yes.
girls.
And she's like a bully
Yeah.
and like best friends with Judy. And just why do you walk up to a girl and shake the shit out of her because she doesn't want to swim?
Yeah.
I mean, later we find out, but like, it's just
Like,
so
why she
weird.
doesn't
Why
wanna
are you
swim?
acting
Yeah.
like that? Like, it's just such
Yeah.
a weird reaction from someone who is supposed to be the older, more mature person. And yeah, the good counselor comes over and yells at her and says, "Get back to your post," or whatever. But like,
She
Man,
doesn't have
she's-
to swim.
yeah, she doesn't have to swim.
Yeah.
What the hell are you being so mean for? And I feel like that Judy deserved the slap that she got.
For sure. Loved watching that.
I know, and it was in the cabin
Yeah.
or whatever, and she was being mean to her and saying, "Oh, you haven't gotten any hair yet down there. You just
Yeah. What?
who cares?
Yeah. Like when I
You're-
watched that, I was like, okay.
You're 12 or whatever."
And like, what
13,
is the
I guess,
problem?
because apparently the Angela actress was actually 13 years old
Oh.
in the movie.
Damn.
But I guess they're 13 in the movie, right? So who really cares who went through puberty and who didn't at 13 years old?
Yeah,
I
who
surely
gives a
didn't
fuck?
care. I didn't know what was going on. I was just, walking around trying to live my life.
We were just chilling.
And then she gets slapped because she's being an asshole to Angela for literally no reason.
Yeah.
Other than she's a little bit strange. And then once again, Ricky protects Angela whenever they throw her into the water. They come and, pick her up and take her to the water. And
Yeah.
she's screaming and stuff. And Mel, I guess the camp organizer dude,
Yeah.
he's
The
just
main
like
dude.
harassing and manhandling this kid that he has absolutely zero idea that he's the killer in any way.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
No.
And
He's beating the shit out of him.
I don't understand where he got the
info.
his
Or-
info from that
yeah.
he was the killer. Like, come on.
Because he definitely
I get it's
wasn't.
weird, but like, settle down a little bit, dude.
Simmer down.
Simmer down. But as I said before, I like the theme of Ricky protecting Angela. That's a really good theme that they keep enforcing through the whole movie. I want to talk about the bee hive kill.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely getting more and more creative as they go on.
Yeah, that was...
Each kill is definitely
was
more creative
thought
than the
out.
last. Yeah, like the killer put the broomstick in the handles and cut open the screen where he was in the stall and threw the bee's nest in there. I thought
Yep.
it was definitely a creative kill.
Yeah.
I mean, the hive did seem a little small
It
for
was
that
a
many
little
bees.
small,
but-
but...
You get stung by like 1,000 bees, you really could die.
And they definitely died.
Yeah,
So,
they definitely
yeah.
died. But like in real life, if you get stung by that many bees, you seriously could die. It's not like
A joke.
it's not like it was completely
Uh-huh.
unrealistic or anything. Like that is totally realistic. It just seems like the hive was a little bit small, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Could have been a bigger hive, but it's all right.
Something I did read to make that scene happen, they just put sugar on the face of a latex body created in his image or whatever.
Uh-huh.
They like recreated his face and stuff, and they just put sugar on it and had bees go.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it was just a little stupid fact.
little
I saw.
something.
Yeah, it was just sugar. Because I mean, bees look
Yeah.
for sugar all the time.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Angela opening up more. She seems to be talking a lot, and when Paul and her go down to the water, she's like, kissing him, like
Yeah.
actually kissing him, and wrestling and running, and
Uh-huh.
she's like really opening up
It's
more.
cute to see.
Yeah, and then Paul gets a little too touchy, and she doesn't like it because it brings back the memories and stuff, which is fair. I understand, like, she's kind of still screwed up. I mean, you watched your dad and brother get killed.
Oh, yeah, that'd fuck you up.
Yeah, in that way too,
Yeah.
in a place that was like supposed to be safe and fun.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see her open up more. I want to talk about Paul and Judy kissing in the woods. They really fucked over Angela. at that point.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
makes complete sense that they were both ending up dead by the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just the point where, why would you do that? Because she didn't want you having your hands all over her body at
Yeah.
12 or at 13 years
Yeah.
old.
Get over yourself, Paul.
Get over yourself. It's just so weird that he had to act like such an asshole after, like, I don't know, being so nice to her. So I can understand where she thought that this was weird. And of course, Judy was manipulating him, just saying stuff
Yeah.
just to get him to do that, just to fuck with her head. And
She's
then
evil.
I want to talk about Angela closing back up. She stopped talking to Paul as much. She stopped talking in general as much because it seemed like she was coming out of her shell.
Uh-huh.
But her closing back up kind of made it like more personal whenever, you know, the big reveal comes around.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense at the end of the movie why this all happened.
Oh, for
But
sure.
once again, they're bullying Angela for literally no reason other than that she's a little bit weirder than you. She's not 100% normal. And let's be honest, not a single person on this earth or in this movie is 100% normal.
No.
You're all a little bit fucked up in some sort of way. And I mean, Ricky
Aren't we all?
Ricky has anger problems, which he's
Yeah.
protecting Angela, so it's understandable. Angela had that traumatic
Yeah.
event. Judy is vain and thinks she's hot shit. You're fucked up. Paul is a little too
You're fucked up.
is a little too touchy. Meg is an asshole. You can go through like every person in this movie and find something that's wrong with them. And just the fact that you think that you're perfect bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it.
Exactly. So I want to talk about Meg flirting with the oldest dude at this camp. I get he's like the head honcho. I get he's the head honcho here, but like,
I get he has authority.
but like,
get
it's
it.
just so weird. He's the oldest dude.
And like for him to like flirt back.
I think she's like 16 or 17,
Yeah, dude.
and he's like
What are you doing?
45-ish older.
What are you doing?
And she literally works with Buff Counselor.
Yeah. Go for him.
Easily a better choice
Yes.
over this old dude.
Oh,
Gross. But
he
whatever.
must have money.
To each their own.
He must
Yeah,
have money.
He must have money. Well, he runs the camp, so I guess. But I want to talk about that the killer is starting to kill just everybody.
Just
I
anybody. Yeah.
couldn't really see their faces, but why did the killer kill those kids in the sleeping bags? I think they were just little kids, right? So I didn't really know who they were, but it just seems like killers just going off on a
Yeah.
tangent, just killing anyone
Yep.
and everything.
Fuck everybody, I guess.
I guess. And that's Judy's kill. I didn't write it down, but apparently Judy's kill had to be cut from the movie because it was like too grisly, like too awful.
Oh shit.
And I kind of want to see it just
Yeah.
to see what
Wonder
what
if you
happened.
could find it anywhere.
I wonder. That'd be kind
You
of
probably
cool.
could.
You probably could, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mel beating the crap out of Ricky
Uh-huh.
for literally no reason, other than the fact that
Yeah.
he thinks he killed Meg.
Yeah.
But like, come on, he deserved to die.
Yeah.
He deserved the arrow through the throat.
Oh, for sure.
But like, you just beat the crap out of a little kid because of a suspicion.
Yeah, you don't even know if it's fact.
You have zero idea if it's a fact.
Yeah.
You
And
just
it's
think it's
not.
him.
You're
And it's
wrong.
really not. You're wrong. And then there's the big reveal
Yep.
that not only the killer was Angela, but Angela wasn't Angela. Angela was the brother the whole time.
Yeah.
And the image is just burned in your brain.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think we might be able to talk Adam into giving us his opinion. So I'm
I
gonna
wish
just
you should have recorded the first time we all watched it together.
I should have, and
because
then
that
posted
was
it.
Hilarious.
so I'll give a little backstory here. I watched this movie a long time ago because it is a cult classic movie, and apparently there's like a huge following of this movie, which it's a good movie.
Yeah.
And then I saw like a picture of the ending somewhere, and I was like, hold up, what the fuck is this?
1 second.
And then, I found out it was Sleepaway Camp, so of course I watched it, just because it's something you have to see with your own eyes to believe.
Yeah.
So I, of course, watched it so I could see it with my own eyes. And I had just about the same reaction as Adam did. And then one day, when Adam was living with me, we were doing like every couple days we'd watch a horror movie just for no reason. So I was like, hey, let's watch Sleepaway Camp. I did not tell Cicely or Adam about this. And I don't think either of you heard of it before, right? No. So I threw it on.
So we were like, yeah, let's watch it. Oh, yeah.
So we watched it, get to the end, and it was literally the funniest reaction I've ever seen from somebody to react to a twist and turn movie. So if I can get Adam to record it, it'll be right after I'm done talking. You'll hear his reaction, and then we'll pick up into the next part.
All right, so as we were getting to the end of the movie, we were watching it, and we were wrapping up some of the kills, and a lot of them were kind of bland. Maybe some of them were good. And we were going to get the reveal of the killer. And our hero, who was being bullied the whole movie, was down at the beach with her boyfriend. And we go down there to meet up with her and find out who the killer is. And only to find out that she is, in fact, the killer, but she is a he. And that she has decapitated her boyfriend. And she's standing there stark naked with her his penis hanging out, hissing and holding his head up as a trophy. And yes, my reaction was, what the fuck did I just watch? And why do I need to see the man's penis with his 1970s bush? It was wild and out of control. And that's all I remember about that movie.
Okay, so if you heard that and we got Adam to do it for us, how funny was his reaction to that movie? Because we saw it, we were there, we heard it in our we can hear it in our heads right now, and hopefully it's just as funny to you as it was to us. So yeah, we find out at the end of the movie it's the brother that lived, and Angela, isn't real. It was the brother, Peter, the whole time.
You find out because
there's a scene of Angela's face,
yeah, and
a naked boy's body.
Yes.
So it's just such
covered in blood,
yeah.
So
but
you see like a hairy weenie,
yeah,
like
with a mask of Angela on,
yeah.
Because that's how they did it. They put a guy, undressed, and then put a mask of Angela over his face, holding the head and the knife and everything. And I just thought, that's one way to get your movie to be.
Oh yeah, unforgettable for
that's
sure. One movie I was like, oh,
I'll never forget this movie.
Okay.
I think in the introduction episode you said that the strangest movie that you've ever seen that you've really liked was Sleepaway Camp, right? Yeah. I don't think that this movie is strange. I definitely think it's unforgettable, for sure.
It's just the ending is strange.
It's very strange at the end,
where you're just like, what the fuck?
What just happened? But yeah, I think that, this is a pretty good movie. I like it. What are your thoughts, sis? What do you want to talk about?
I like the aesthetic. I like the vibe.
True.
Love 80s movies.
We got the aesthetic back.
I like all that, but like the ending just throws you for a loop.
It definitely does, yeah.
But yeah, I do like it. I like it.
It's very funny to think back of like the time we watched it with Adam. And like I do like that this movie does have a cult following, because it is a movie that, like I said, is unforgettable. So it's good that, people actually follow this movie no matter what. And I guess there's like 5 of them.
What?
There's a whole bunch of sequels and stuff.
No shit.
But like, I'm glad this movie had like a cult following, and it's like part of like the horror community as like a good movie. I like that people, collect memorabilia and, what they do with like Ghostface and Jason and Freddy and all that stuff too, because this is definitely a movie that gets stuck in your head. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
All right, I got some fear facts here.
Sweet.
There's only a couple. There wasn't as much as I think Friday the 13th had like 380 some different facts that I could write down. This one had 45.
Oh.
But we'll start off with Angela, Judy, and Meg, the actresses for that.
Yeah.
For those three, were very close while filming this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that throwing Angela into the water was the hardest scene to film because they
Aw.
couldn't stand being mean to someone they were so close with.
Yeah.
So I guess they were all,
Besties.
besties in real life. It was just Judy and Meg hated Angela for
Yeah.
the movie. So
Aw.
it's kind of nice.
That's cute though.
So the movie itself, like I said, became a cult classic.
Uh-huh.
And it actually made 30 times more than the budget.
Oh, wow.
It made 30 times more than what they spent on the movie.
Oh, wow.
So that vastly exceeds expectations.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
awesome.
So that's good, especially for an 80s movie. It had good prosthetic work.
Yeah, it really did.
Whatnot.
It really did.
The director for this movie actually went to that camp
Oh.
when he was a kid. Camp Arawak or whatever. He
Yeah.
actually went to that camp as a kid that he filmed
Cute
this
little
on.
nugget of information.
That's pretty cool information right there.
Yeah.
Some of the campers, that were running off of the bus were actually relatives of the cast and crew. So they were like, cousins,
Yeah.
nephews, nieces, stuff like that. It's kind of cool that all they had to do was like, hey, why don't you bring your kids to work today and have them run off the bus? Easy actors.
Easy. Boom.
Angela does not speak for 31 minutes into this movie.
Oh, wow.
Her first line isn't said for 31 minutes. It's kind of a interesting nugget there too. It is very rare for not only for a slasher's victims to be in between the ages of 12 to 15,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also strange for a slasher's victims to live.
Oh.
So already lived.
Yeah.
He was just burnt
Unfortunately.
nearly to death, unfortunately.
Well, now he has to suffer with that, so.
Exactly. And I think there were 2 victims that lived, right?
Who would the other one be?
Yeah, I can't really think of the second one. I think Artie was the only one that ended up living, which kind of makes it seem like she gets better and better at it.
Yeah.
as
It goes on, yeah.
Clues to being a boy. There were a couple.
Okay.
There were very many apparently, but ones that I can remember was that she won't swim. Obviously, she doesn't want to put
Yeah.
on a bathing suit.
She won't change in front of anybody.
She won't shower with everyone else
Yeah.
at the same time because obviously
Which I kind of get.
I kind of get
like
it.
when
but
we went to camp, I was like, ah.
yeah, but it was like back in the 80s, like
Yeah.
it was just like one big shower.
Yeah.
When we went to camp, it was individual stalls.
Yeah.
So it was kind of I get why now,
Yeah.
knowing that she was actually a boy. And then the secret physical exam in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
The mom was like, "Don't tell anyone where you got the physical exam from,"
Yeah.
because she knew it was a boy.
Yeah.
Was just pretending to be a girl. And for my final fear fact is that the body count in this movie was 13.
Oh, wow.
There were 13 deaths in this movie.
Damn.
So I liked, like you said, the aesthetic and the vibe
Yeah.
and all that stuff. I liked the writing. The writing wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
It was definitely, you wouldn't know the first time you watched it who the killer was. You definitely did not know that Angela was a boy.
No.
In no way, shape, or form.
like,
The first time you watched it, there is zero chance that you knew.
no, there's
There's literally no
there's
chance of
no
it.
chance.
So that was definitely
But once you go back and watch it, you're like, oh,
it makes sense now.
yes, makes sense.
And-
Especially the little scenes with, like, those little, like, mini scenes they do with the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. But, like, it's definitely a good movie. There are a couple things I didn't like about the movie was the mom's acting. I hated her.
Yeah. I didn't like her.
That was
Just in
terrible.
general.
And I don't know if she was supposed to be like that, but, like, it was just, like, the way that the mom was acting was just awful. I didn't like it. And then Mel, his acting during the Meg part.
Yeah.
He's like clenching his fist and he's like, "I will avenge you," and stuff like that. It was just seemed so forced.
Yeah.
Those were the only things I didn't like about this movie.
I agree. That was both kind of like,
So I did give it an 8 out of
Okay.
10 because of the twists and turns. The first time you see it, you have zero idea, and watching it again, you still pick up on those kind of things and whatnot. So it definitely has rewatchability. I like
Okay.
that about a movie.
yeah.
I like the writing. Angela was great
She was great.
in this
She
movie.
did a great job.
Fantastic.
Yes.
She had that deadpan stare. It was a perfect,
Yep.
like, kind of creepy
Perfect.
stare. And I really liked this
She
movie
played
a
her
lot.
part really
She
well.
did. And I would have given it higher if it wasn't for those moments I just talked about. But it was definitely not a bad movie at all. It was definitely one of the better 80s horror movies.
Yeah.
For sure. And I understand why there's a huge following in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty good movie. And for the first time viewers of it, you
You're-
have no idea unless someone told you about it before. And even if
Definitely
like, even
catches
when-
you by surprise.
exactly, even though I knew it was coming because I looked it up, I still didn't know when it was coming. You know, because she
Yeah.
was, petting Paul's head and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And she stood up and it was just like, holy fuck, that was out of nowhere kind
Yeah.
of thing. So even though I knew it the first time, I still didn't know when it was coming. So, I don't know. You guys watch it. Let us know what you think. And then tell us if you actually knew or knew what part we were talking
Yeah.
about. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good movie.
It's good.
This movie was actually recommended by a fan. My friend Ash told us that we needed to do this episode. I did try. This is the first Cicely's hearing about this idea. I did try to tell her to, at her house, she lives far away.
Yeah.
And I told her at her house, record her, give us like 5 or 10 minutes of her like telling us why she
Yeah.
loves this movie so much, and then send it to me and we'll throw it in the episode. Her kid was sick, so it wasn't a
Wasn't
good
working
time.
out. Yeah.
But I thought it would have been cool to get like the fan who recommended the movie.
Maybe she can post something
Yeah, maybe.
for us. Like
Yeah,
write about it on the page.
yeah, we'll
or
figure it out
something.
whenever she,
Yeah.
everything's all feeling better for her. So
Yeah, for sure.
thank you for the fan recommendation, Ash, and hopefully you enjoyed us talking about your movie, because we definitely enjoyed watching it.
Yep.
I like this movie, I do, and it's definitely an unforgettable
For sure.
movie.
For sure.
You have any closing remarks?
It's just definitely unforgettable.
For sure.
For sure.
All right, so now I'll read the question for next week.
Okay.
What actor plays the character Jim Halsey in the 1986 road movie The Hitcher? That'll be next week's question.
Let us know.
Go to the Facebook, answer on this week's discussion page, and we'll shout you out on our Facebook page who gets it right first and all the people that answer it right.
And
So-
don't Google it either.
And don't
Come on.
don't Google it.
Don't Google it.
So next
Use
week
your brains.
our movie is The Nun. We're finally throwing this onto the show. We've been saying, this is episode 18, I think. And we finally are getting into The Nun.
Yep, I'm excited. This
So
is a
this-
freaky one.
Yeah, this is a freaky one. So
I don't
I
think I
haven't
can
seen
watch
the
it
whole
alone.
movie. I think like the middle or something. I don't know.
think we're
I
gonna
haven't
have to
seen the
watch
whole
it
movie.
together
Yeah.
because for me.
It's freaky. So with that being said, we'll catch you next week with The Nun.
Yep. Catch you later.